Alright, so the topic for this lecture are the HTTP messages, right? So remember we said that we have this response and this request message that start flying around between the client and the server. Alright, so in this lecture we're going to take a closer look at those actual messages. Alright, so really the format of HTTP message is very simple. Basically it's a series of lines containing a sequence of characters, right? Um, and they're written in plain text. All right, plain text means that when they go across the wire, i.e., the LANs and the WANs and the wireless networks, they're going across in plain text. So that means that any human can read or write to these messages. Now that's very important when we get to the concept of security, because if it's in plain text, that means that anybody sniffing that wire has access to that message and can read what contains in it, right? So think about sending usernames and passwords across the wire, right? It's going to go across in plain text depending on the protocol, depending on the method that we use, all right? Now, here you see an example of a request message in A, right? And in B, we see an example of a response message. Okay, so let's take a look at this request message a little bit. This first line that you see, all right. So remember, the request is going from the client to the server. All right, from the client to the server, and you see here it contains the get, right? So the method that we're using, and then the protocol, the URI for the resource that we're requesting, in this case a hi there.txt, and then it contains the HTTP protocol that we're using. Okay, so we're talking 1.0, right? So then you see some additional options here, right? Here, accept text, so that means that we can accept anything that comes back in the text format, right? And in English or French, okay? And then the response message, you see the start line, and we'll talk about the start line headers and body in just a minute, okay? So the start line contains the protocol, right? So this means, yeah, I can talk to you in 1.0. We both talk HTTP 1.0. Here's our status code, 200 OK. So what does that mean? It means it found the resources and is returning it. Okay, so here's the header section, and notice it's specifying the content type, which is text plain. So remember over here we said we'll take anything back that's text. All right, and the length is 19. And here's the body. So the body contains the data itself. So we're sending that data in plain text. Hi, I'm a message. Okay. All right. So all HTTP messages sent from clients to web servers are called request messages. All right. All the messages from the server to the client are called response messages. All right. Other than that, we don't have any additional type of HTTP messages. Only request and response. All right. So the format for both of these is very similar. All right. All HTTP messages, I can't say it today. Messages consist of three parts. A start line, right? The start line is the first line of the message, okay? And it indicates what to do for a request or what happened for a response, all right? So for the request, we saw the get and the resource we wanted, and for the response, we saw the protocol and the status code, all right? So then the next part are the header fields, and you may have 0 more header fields, okay? You have multiple header fields, but basically they consist of a name and a value, and they're both separated by a colon so that a browser can parse it easily. Okay, and the headers end with a blank line. Okay, then the body contains and the body part is actually optional. So our request could have had a body, but because we were using get, there was no content for that message to carry to the server. But when the server returned, we saw that there was content in the body because the web server was sending data back to the client. All right, so it's not necessarily necessary to have data in the body part. Okay, and another thing to note about the body part is it can contain any type of data, including binary data in zeros and ones. Okay, all right, so that is it for messages. Take care. Actually, I'm sorry. One more slide. I wanted to take a look at a simple message. All right, so let's say the browser requested the resource at HTTP. www.joes-hardware.com/tools.html. All right, so these are the messages that would actually get sent. So here you see in A, you see the request in the start line. So we're get, and we're asking for tools. Notice we don't have to put the entire path here. All right, we just put in the resource that we want, tools.html, and then there's our protocol. All right, user agent. This is just here's our headers, right? So sometimes the browser will append to the message the type of browser that the user is coming from. Now this is useful information because we may need to switch the CSS that we're using based on the user agent or based on the browser that the user is using. Okay, this host part specifies the server, so it'll put this together with the URL, with the resource we're requesting, and we're saying that we'll accept back text in the form of HTML, images in the form of GIFs, and images in the form of JPEGs, and we only want back English. Okay, and no request body is associated with this message. Alright, so the response message back from the server, here's our start line. It contains the protocol and the status. Here's our headers. Notice multiple headers separated by colons, the date, right? The server, so it's specifying that the server that it's using is an Apache server, right? And a lot of times we'll try and mask this information because we don't want hackers to know what type of server we're using. The date that the content was last modified, the content length, and the content type, which is HTML. Now notice in the body we're sending back an HTML formatted document, and the browser will know how to parse this response body to show the HTML in the browser. Alright, now I'm done with messages. Take care.